So welcome to today's Greater Life CoffeeCast. And with today's pillar being the focus of health, my question for you today is, what are your super actions? And by this I mean, and I could call it any different number of names, like your synergy sweet spot actions or something like that, right? The idea being that what actions are there in your life that can give you a result across a number of different pillars? So we've got health, happiness, home, and hustle. So let me share with you an example from my own life from yesterday. And I'm going to be sharing actually a little video that I captured of the journey across the various social platforms. So keep an eye out for that. Because one of my super actions is the family's annual bilberry hunt. So just above our house is Tregonning Hill, which is one of the highest peaks in the local region. And you can get an incredible view, as you'll see from the video, of two different coastlines, the north coast and the south coast of Cornwall, down here in the west of Cornwall. And it was the birthplace of the China clay industry, which is, responsible for a whole host of, industrial processes. China clay is a really key part of that. There are ancient Bronze Age cairns and Celtic hill forts upon the hill as well. And there are abundant bilberry bushes. And so every year at bilberry time, we head up there and we hopefully fill our faces full of bilberries. Now, this year, the pickings were a little slim. However, here is how bilberry picking is a super action. In that in total, we probably walked about 2 miles, and there's some good elevation on the hill itself. So a 2-mile walk with a lot of elevation, a lot of bending down to pick the bilberries. So from a health perspective, my body got a good workout. I got to eat some healthy berries, local native berries that of course had a load of goodness from the soil that I am standing upon. So another tick in the health box. Okay. I got to experience the stunning colours of nature, as you will see in the video. And I got to spend amazing time with my family. So a big tick in the happiness box. Okay. The happiness pillar. I got to create magical memories with my children. So that's a big tick in the home box. And all of these, are they going to directly impact my business? I don't know. But I got some really great video footage and I get to share a podcast with you about the overall experience. So on some level, I'm getting a business outcome as well. But very much for the single activity of the bilberry hunt, I'm getting a huge tick in the health, the happiness, and the home pillars. Okay, so that for one action, I'm getting a multiple payoff. All right, and one of the things that I've always been obsessed with for the last decade or so is the concept of synergy. Is that how can we create something which is greater than the sum of its parts? How can we do more with less? And this particular example of the bilberry hunt struck me as something that's really important to highlight as a frame of reference, a way of thinking. And I used to work for an organisation called the Real Ideas Organisation. I think they've since rebranded to just Real Ideas. And they would be operating various government grants and contracts and European funding. They're a third sector, so they're a social enterprise. And so some of their activities would be commercial, some of their activities would be publicly funded. And I really took on board this notion from them of they would try to get a single piece of work that could deliver outcomes across multiple different contracts, grants, bits of funding, commercial endeavours, so that they were literally getting the biggest bang for their buck. Okay. And it's just such a wonderful way of thinking about how you can really cultivate a rich life. And from the perspective of health, how you can cultivate physical vitality, mental health, resilience, purpose, joyfulness, by identifying what are those actions and activities that give you an outsized payoff. Another phrase you could use here is asymmetrical rewards, right? That for a single input, you are getting multiple outputs. Okay? And as I speak to you now, I'm trying to think of others that are present for me. What are other activities that really tick that box? Certainly, things like bodyboarding or surfing would be one for me, because there's the physical, like the real physical hard work to paddle out and to kind of stay afloat. There is the time in nature and time for myself, so again, my mental health, and there's the flow states of, hanging on for dear life as you try and catch the wave. And so definitely, I get a big tick in the health box. I get a big tick in the happiness box. And I think I probably get a big tick in the home box in terms of taking care of myself, of really understanding what are those values that I want to align myself around. And one of those is exhilaration, is excitement, is adventure, and very much heading out into the surf is an exhilarating adventure for me. So, for you, what are some of those? What are some of those activities where across the 4 pillars you can stack up outcomes in a number of different pillars from a single activity? Because let's be real, one of the challenges we face is actually having enough time to do the things we want to do. And so if we can identify activities that are going to give us payoffs across multiple pillars, then we're making the best use of our time. And if you can't think of any right now, then perhaps for this week, be a really good thing to consider is, what are some of those activities that you could bring back into your life, that you could introduce into your life, that will give you these multiple payoffs, so that you actually wrest back some time that you might want to do other things in. Okay? So, that is today's Greater Life CoffeeCast on the pillar of health. And of course, it stretches way beyond that. But if ever you are wondering how you can get the most bang for your buck, how you can get the greatest mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial payoffs, then consider where you can create multiple outcomes from a single action. All right.